beautiful thing about the mask was the reveal. And that speech was so beautiful about family and basically taking that mask off. And my subtext to that was just saying, look what this has done to me. This thing that you fight over, this seat that you all want, all this shit that you're bickering over, this is what it does. My name's Paddy Considine and I play King Viserys Targaryen in HBO's House of the Dragon.
My name's Amanda Knight. I'm the makeup designer for House of the Dragon.
My name's Barrie Gower and I was the prosthetics designer for House of the Dragon Season 1.
So our King Visery character has a progression over the space of 20 years and over the 8 episodes, and we had to plot how we were going to do that so that we have some sort of a continuity of where he's going to get injured or sores, and just so that it's going to have a natural progression of how that's going to work.
It was a big team effort and a big prosthetic team, really, just for one single character. It was super extensive, just for the sad demise of King Viserys, really, over 8 episodes. So when you start getting the time jumps in the story, Amanda and her incredible team, they started to recede Paddy's hairline. You could see more of his scalp. And it was very, very subtle. I think they had several wigs as the episodes went on. It would be a character that would be our most extensive work, basically, on Season 1. Coming on to House of the Dragon, we had a history with Miguel Sapochnik from Game of Thrones. We'd worked with him for several years. We had done a few characters on Game of Thrones that had similar flesh-eating diseases and all kinds of horrible disorders and what have you. There was a character called the Mountain on Game of Thrones, which he slowly deteriorated as the seasons went on. We did work on another HBO show, Chernobyl, where we did a lot of radiation burn victims.
We researched many diseases for this character and many things, wasting away, sores and scabs, and how we were going to recreate that, you know, with our makeup products.
Where we could start with something relatively subtly, and then it would start to increase as the story progressed. We did several makeup tests actually on some of our crew members in the workshop, who were all guinea pigs, and we were firing each other the most horrific photos over WhatsApp or what have you, of all these horrible diseases.
I love working with Barrie, and we can sort of feed off each other and say, right, if we reveal this sore in this episode, then we can have it bigger in the next episode.
Is it healing?
It has grown slightly, Your Grace.
Yeah, he starts showing signs of his illness very, very early on in that first episode. On his back.
In episode 1, it's quite early that we introduced that scene where the Meisters are tending to, it's like a grape-sized sore on his lower back. So we did a few makeup tests with that.
And mixing little bits in pots to try and get yellow pus, so that when the Meisters were wiping it away, we had the right colour yellow pus and the right consistency.
It's something which needed to look infective and quite livid, as if it was the start of something, basically, because this was going to be the start of the story.
You know, some of it was actually lip gloss, and some of it was all sorts of strange things that we'd use to make yellow pus.
One real pivotal moment as well at the end of that episode when he banishes Daemon is that he cuts his little finger on the throne. This throne, everyone desires it, but to me it's kind of like a haunted item. If you're not the right person for that throne at that right time in history, it will reject you. And I think it rejects Viserys. Having a physical decline of a character is something that I found really interesting to play. You could almost map it out and then work on the physicality, and all I needed really was an end point.
It was a progression. He had 5 different wigs. There was 5 different stages of his hair going back.
And it was just introducing these little subtleties.
You can see how fine it is with the hair underneath. And you can see, like, underneath here is all his sores. So this is painfully made by Barrie, and someone has punched in every single hair into the bald cap.
The first really extensive stage for us was about episode 7.
Look at me. Your king demands an answer. Who spoke these lies to you?
That's when we had his sort of ulcerated bald cap where you could see textures underneath. We started having patches on his face. We started to beef up Paddy's cheekbones and make him look a little bit more socketed around the eyes, a little bit more skeletal. And it was a completely practical makeup, I think, in episode 7.
They gave me a bowl cap on the last day as a present, because I had all these different names for my different looks. Like there was the pretty pony, the scabby pony, and then we went into the ball bag, and then the last one was called Beyond Ball Bag. People come in my garage and go, "What's that?" And they all signed it, so it was a wonderful gift.
Father?
Who goes there?
We knew in episode 8 he was going to be very gaunt, very emaciated. We knew there were going to be these negative space patches on Viserys' face where he would have cavities, which we obviously wouldn't be able to achieve practically.
That was an instance where the makeup definitely changed my perception about the performance and what I was actually going to do. And then it's just that you're in great hands. You're with Barrie Gower, Amanda Knight, and Hannah Eccleston worked with me every day applying that with another member of the team. And what I've tried to say with all of this makeup stuff is it only works if you put your soul into the character, and I feel like they never try to take it too far away from me. It's not like they come up with some extreme idea. It was always very tasteful and always very honoured the character.
We knew immediately that the visual effects were going to have to help us. We can only add, we can't take away. And then we blend around seamlessly between that.
Even though he would be wearing a practical makeup, Angus and his team would be manipulating Paddy's face to make him more gaunt, to create these hollows and sockets in the face as well. For us as a company, was one of the first characters that we started to use more 3D technology, actually. And we started off early in pre-prep, way before filming, and we 3D scanned Paddy. We had a digital file of his head and shoulders, which we were able to get 3D printed. And then we also took a traditional life cast of Paddy as well, which we get really high surface texture from the life cast, but you don't necessarily get quite the same pore detail from a 3D print. But we were able to combine the two. We also created a silicone bust of Paddy's head with all the prosthetics incorporated into it. But we made a clay model and then we sculpted all the anatomy and all the interior hollows, what have you. And we created like a silicone head, which we beautifully hair punched and all painted up. And he had glass eyes and denture appliances inside. And we gave that to the VFX team so they had texture and color reference on the day. And we had a head on a stick that they were able to hold in camera next to Paddy so they could actually turn from side to side and see what these forms would look like in the same lighting.
And we're all about the fine details, even his teeth, his eyes, everything. They all had to have something done. So, because there's nothing worse than a deteriorating King Visery makeup with pearly white, sparkly teeth. Even though you know how clever these visual effects guys are, still when you see it on the screen for the first time, it's still that moment.
Close your eyes. Give me your hand.
You just get used to it, really. You have to. You just have to go with it. And a good makeup artist will read whoever's in the chair. I had a really good team that made it really, really easy.
It's a big, big process, and it was a big team of us doing that. We were a happy family making it work.
The whole Viserys character and his journey, it was just this incredible experience across all the departments of makeup, hair, prosthetics, and visual effects. And it was a really joyful experience from start to finish.